All right, guys, we're switching it up today, and we are on site at my unofficial favorite store, Canadian Tire, where we're gonna check out gas generators. And these are really, really important for a backup power supply to a off-grid solar system. So let's go check it out. All right, guys, so the first one we have here is the Generac. This is a 3600 watt model. $800, so decently priced. Generac's not a bad name. A lot of these are actually all the same setup. They're just rebranded, so something to know. This is really good if you just want to run some 120 volt stuff. It's got 3600 running watts, so that's going to do a 30 amp circuit pretty easily. So this is definitely, if you're on the smaller need side, this is going to do it. Now, if you're doing this in an off-grid system, this is still a portable generator, wireframe generator, so it's not going to give you the best quality of output power, and it's not going to be great on charging speed of the batteries because it's just 3600 watts. It's just not that much. Usually you'd be looking for something like 5,000 watts or more at least. So let's continue. All right, so Champion. Okay, this is definitely a Chinese-made unit. Champions tend to be kind of on the cheaper side of things, and they are rebranded in different countries with different names, but a lot of them come from the actual same manufacturer, so just heads up on that one. These aren't going to be your most reliable or have the cleanest of power, but they're a good starting point if you're thinking of just using this from time to time. Now, with these, you're going to have a lot of total harmonic discrepancies, and what that really means is just dirty power. So once again, check out if your inverter is going to be actually able to handle that kind of dirty power. And remember that a lot of inverters actually bypass that power right through to all your devices. So this might actually damage your devices in the long run. So something to keep in mind. If you look over here at a Briggs Stratton, Briggs Stratton's a little bit of a bigger brand, and they're going to probably have a better quality unit. This one here is an 8,000 watt continuous with 10,000 watts of surge capability, which is really cool because it's got both the 120 and the 240 volt 30 amp. So with 8,000 watts, your smaller off-grid properties are going to be able to operate completely off of this and charge your batteries at the same time, which is really nice. And that's what you want to be looking for, right? You want that increased power. So if you've got a little bit extra budget, I would go from, a Champion that's got a little bit less wattage up to something like a Briggs Stratton with 8,000 watt. You can see this one's got a 6,500 watts. So that would be more, it could do it, but it's not going to be kind of that bulletproof size that you're going to require. Like 8,000 watts is kind of on the low end of what I would recommend. So this here, and it's priced out $1,400, so it's a really good option. Just taking a look at here, I don't think it's got automatic generator start. So that's something that you're gonna have to keep in mind. You're gonna have to be able to just either go ahead, turn this thing on when you're getting low on battery, or actually add a aftermarket automatic generator start if it's possible, okay? So that's something to keep in mind when you're shopping for these. It's great to just pull them off the shelf, but you gotta think about, hey, do we need to go out there and get additional devices or wiring to get this to fully work with my off-grid property, okay? Let's see if there's anything else out here that catches my eye. So if you are looking at our Backpack Energy line of products or any kind of other solar generator, and you want kind of a backup to that because, hey, maybe you're going somewhere that there's a lot less sun, these are really good units. They come in, obviously Champion makes one, but Honda also makes a really nice model of these. They're super quiet. They only provide 2,500 watts. So, and this is actually only 1,850 while it's running. It's 2,500 watt peak. So, but it's gonna be great for recharging those smaller portable fuel-free power packs like the Backpack Energy, right? So it's a good backup to a backup if it's really, really something critical that you want to charge with it. They're super lightweight and easy to use. So yeah, I mean, and they're not too badly priced, right? You're looking at about $1,000, so it's not too expensive. So cool to have just for that Backpack Energy. What else we got here? Yeah, we've got a Generac, and this looks to be like an E model. I'm not. Different people call it different things. Like the E model on some it's an inverter generator, which would be really cool. So to give you a little bit of background about the inverter generators is they actually have a inverter built into it that cleans up that power. So they're gonna be more expensive. Honda makes a phenomenal one. It's like the 6500i, I believe. It used to be the 7000i. And it looks very similar to these. But it's got an inverter built into it, which cleans up that power. Highly recommend that. You're not going to see it at a place like Canadian Tire. But if you come across one, it's really a nice product, but you're going to pay a premium, right? You're going to be in that $3,000 to $4,000 range. Generac's this 7500E, yeah, it's around the $1,500 mark, so it's probably a little bit better quality. It's definitely going to be better quality than your Champion here. And 7,500 watts is, that's your running watts, and 9,500 starting watts, which is really good. So that, once again, you're getting into that range where you're gonna be able to power all of your off-grid appliances on top of being able to power and recharge your batteries, which is really, really nice and cool. Another thing to take into account is, when I'm shopping for this, is I'm looking for how many liters or gallons of fuel are these carrying, right? Because if it's a small tank, you're gonna have to be going out there and refilling this every time, or a lot more often. So something to take into account, making sure that they have the right plug. So as I showed you on that Briggs Stratton, it had that 122/40 volt, which is super common. Make sure it's got that 122/40 volt twist lock 30 amp plug. That'll save you a lot of hassle. What else can I see on here? Not a whole lot. These are pretty much all the same. When you go to a department store like this, they're all gonna be really, really similar. So it really comes down to brand. It comes down to making sure it's got the right power for you, and just double checking if there's any stats on its total harmonic distortion. It's THD. If you can find any stats on that, that's really gonna help, because that means that we can see how good of a quality power is coming out of these things. You also wanna make sure that these are electric starts. Electric starts are just gonna be a lot nicer for you. You can do the classic pull start, but remember, you're going out there and firing it up. And if it's not an e-start, if it's not an electric start, then there's no way of making this an automatic start from your inverter. So you can't tie into that circuit and have the generator automatically come on when those batteries get low. So that's something to keep in mind there as well, okay? All right, now we're gonna go to Lowe's and check out if they've got a standby generator. That's really something I wanna show you guys. It's a little bit different, a lot more power on that one, and it's gonna be able to do your whole home plus some, and it's sometimes a better option than one of those portable generators. Let's check it out. Okay, we got some generators here. There we go. Cool, we got everything we need right here. All right, awesome. So this is good because we've got kind of like a mix of portable generators, and we've got a standby demo generator up here too. So maybe we can zoom in on that. It's a beast. So these are going to have to be installed on a concrete pad, or obviously site specific. And they're pinned down, and they're basically permanently wired up to your inverter or your home or whatever it may be. These are the kind of generators that will do, they're great for backup power for an entire home. They're usually around the 20 kilowatts. Let's check out what this one is. Yeah, this is a 19.5 kilowatt, so fairly big. Typically they are propane or natural gas. They can be, not the Generac models, but other models can be either gas or diesel, and they're going to be a lot more expensive. So these are, your $6,200 plus installations, plus gas outfitting, plus all the propane tank and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of hardware and other things to think about when you're doing this. It may look like a great deal, but you're adding $4,000 to $5,000 usually for everything else that goes on top of it, including the installation. But they make super, super clean power, and it's a really nice, backup fossil fuel generator for your off-grid property. So if you've got a little bit more money to spend, if this is somewhere that you're gonna not only be on weekends or 3 seasons, but you're there 365, and you really want something robust, Generac, Kohler, there's a lot of other brands out there. They're gonna make really nice full standby generators with super nice clean power. And it's a worthy investment if you've got the money, if you're living there full time. We've also got some portable generators here. So they've got some Firmans here. They're a pretty good quality generator. Very nice packaging. I really like the way that they're structured. Definitely a little bit more plasticky, less of that steel frame, but it does really quite well. I've used these before. They pull start really nicely, and they are parallel capable. So that's kind of cool. I've never really seen this used out in the field because I think it's a little bit gimmicky, but you can put 2 of these together and parallel them together and actually have the output power come to one source, which is really nice. So that's a cool feature on these guys. And some of these actually have they can be both propane and gas, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking for that one here. It's a dual fuel. It doesn't look like this one is, but I know that they come in that dual fuel format. Now, remember we were talking about THD, so total harmonic distortion, and having really nice clean power? Look at that right here. So you have a less than 3% THD, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what you really want to look for, because that means you're going to have a higher quality output power that almost all inverter, 3% is really clean, so pretty much actually all inverters out there are going to be able to operate off that. And you're going to pay a little bit more, right? You were talking about $1,000 here for a 3,300 watt unit. But it's worth it when you're looking for really nice clean power that's going to work with a bunch of different stuff and also not damage your electronics. So you're going to pay a little more, get a lot more out of it. What else can I say here? This is a 120 volt unit only. So this is only going to be working with 120 volt inverters or other inverters that are 120 volt input compatible, but those are a lot rarer. So keep that in mind. You probably have to go to something bigger over these guys, maybe we've got a 6,700 watt here. That's probably gonna have, it's gonna have your 240, 120, 240 volt split that we talked about. That's really important for those larger systems, and it'll be able to charge any 240, 120 volt inverter that you got out there. So I really like how Lowe's has kind of set this up into a chart up here, which is really nice and easy to use. A few things you want to look at. So we did find that propane gas unit. It's down here. So this will work either off of propane tanks or off of just a standard gas. So that's really kind of a nice little feature that they have. It is only 3,000 watt running. So once again, take that into account. Let's see, running down the list here, all the rest of these are gas. We do have a really small fuel-free power station here by Ego. Let's see here, now we're back into the more standard looking portable generators, and still gas, but a little bit higher up in the wattage. We got an 8,000 watt here, which might be a nice substitute or equivalent to that Briggs Stratton we showed you, or even that Honda, although this is not an inverter generator, so just keep that in mind. This one's kind of cool too. It's got not only propane and gas, but it'll also do natural gas. So that would be, if you're on a really tight budget, that might be a really, really good solution for you as well. So there you have it, guys. We've gone in store, we've checked out some really cool generators. Hopefully that helps you guys identify which one supports your needs best and puts a little bit of a more physical aspect to the whole thing. So we'll see you next week. Make sure to like and subscribe.